Assalamu alaikum students. I hope you are doing well with your studies. So far we have done till chapter 19 of grammar skills. Last chapter is left which I will cover in this lecture number 3. It is named as active and passive voice. It is a very interesting concept and you have to listen it carefully. Chapter 20 Active and Passive Voice. Students, there are two ways of writing or saying a same sentence. One is known as active voice, second one is known as passive voice. In active voice, subject comes before the verb. I'll give you an example. The car hit the truck. In this sentence, the car is a subject and the truck is an object. Hit is the past form of verb. Now the sentence will be the car hit the truck. When we will write the same sentence in passive voice, here the object will take the place of the subject. It will come before the verb. For example, the truck was hit by the car. The object which was the object in the active voice has become the subject in the passive voice, and the subject in the active voice has taken the place of the object in the passive voice. They have interchanged their positions. Now the addition is of was, as the sentence active voice sentence was in the past form. So now we will use was or were accordingly in the passive voice. You have to note one thing. When a sentence in the active voice is changed into a passive voice, the object of the active verb becomes the subject of the passive verb. I hope you will understand this. Now what you have to do, go to page number 100 of your grammar skills and do exercise A on that book. Students, before going to the exercises related to this concept of active and passive voice, I want to tell you some rules regarding this concept. If your active sentence is in simple present tense, then you have to use is, are, am accordingly with the past participle, means with the third form of verb. For example, mice eat the cheese. Here, eat is the first form of verb. It is the simple present tense and it is in the active form. Now, the passive of this sentence will be the cheese is eaten by mice. Cheese is a singular subject, so we will use is with it. If the active sentence is in simple past tense, means there will be a second form of verb in the sentence, then you have to use was and were accordingly with the third form of verb. For example, mice ate the cheese. Now the passive of this sentence will be the cheese was eaten by mice. If your active sentence is in present continuous tense, means there will be ing in the sentence, then you have to use is, are, am according to the subject plus being. There is an addition of the word being with past participle. For example, the active sentence is mice are eating the cheese. Now the passive of this sentence will be the cheese is being eaten by mice. If your active sentence is in past continuous tense, again it is a continuous tense but with past. So you have to use was, were plus the same use of word being plus past participle. For example, mice were eating the cheese. This is a sentence in active form. Now the passive of this sentence will be cheese was being eaten by mice. Here comes more rules. If your active sentence is in simple future tense, means there will be a will in the sentence which is showing future tense. then you have to use shall or will plus be plus past participle. For example, mice will eat the cheese. This is a sentence in active form, and we can make it into passive form by this. The cheese will be eaten by mice. If your active sentence is in present perfect tense, means there will be a has or have in the sentence with third form of verb, then how you will change it into passive voice? You will add a word been. Has, have plus been plus past participle. For example, mice have eaten the cheese. The passive will be the cheese has been eaten by mice. We are using has here because it is a singular subject cheese. Now, if your active sentence is in past perfect tense, you will use had been plus past participle. For example, mice had eaten the cheese. It is in the past perfect tense. Now the passive will be the cheese had been eaten by mice. Again, the use of word been with the third form of verb eaten. If your sentence is in future perfect tense, then you have to use will have been plus past participle. For example, mice will have eaten the cheese. You have to change it like this. The cheese will have been eaten by mice. I hope you have understood this concept. Now what you have to do, go to page number 101, 102 and 103 of your grammar skills and do exercise B and C on these pages. Students, along with the exercises in your book, I want you to do this exercise given by me in your notebooks. This is a mixed exercise. First, you have to look which tense is used in the sentence, then apply that rule and solve this exercise in your notebook. Number one question is change the sentences into passive voice. Number one, the Browns have built the large house. Now you have to see which tense it is. I tell you first one, rest of the exercise you have to do by yourself. Now the first sentence is in present perfect tense, as it has have in the sentence and the third form of verb is there. So you will change it into passive voice like this. The large house has been built by the Browns. Now do the rest of the exercise on your notebook. With this, our course is finished. I'll make revision worksheets in my next videos and students can solve those worksheets on their notebooks. For more videos and updates, please subscribe our channel at YouTube and do visit this link which is given below.